Hello, welcome back. I did finish upload the 5 video. Let's continue, but that's only like 2,600 kilometers. So that's not a long flight if you are a fast airline. So you can really travel a long distance, just 3,000 kilometers. I was watching the news in the Danish television at 7 p.m. Let's just continue. I did only sleep 4 hours last night, so I'm a little bit tired today. I don't know if we have 1 hour, 27 minutes left and 1,040 kilometers. Let's just continue reading the India PDF. So, let's continue.
The 2001 census to 31.16% in the 2011 census. The slowing down of the overall population growth rate was due to the sharp decline in growth rate in rural areas since 1991. 360. According to the 2011 census, there are 53 million plus urban agglomerations in India, among them Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad and Ahmedabad, in decreasing order by population. 361. The literacy rate in 2011 was 74.04%, 65.46% among females and 82.14% among males. 362. The rural-urban literacy gap, which was 21.2 percentage points in 2001, dropped to 16.1 percentage points in 2011. The improvement in the rural literacy rate is twice that of urban areas. 360. Kerala is the most literate state with 93.91% literacy, while Bihar the least with 63.82%. 362. The interior of Santam Basilica, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Christianity is believed to have been introduced to India by the late 2nd century by Syriac-speaking Christians. India is home to two major language families, Indo-Aryan, spoken by about 74% of the population, and Dravidian, spoken by 24% of population. Other languages spoken in India come from the Austroasiatic and Sino-Tibetan language families. India has no national language. 363. Hindi, with the largest number of speakers, is official language of the government. 364. 365. English is used extensively in business and administration and has the status of a subsidiary official language. Winking sad smiley 6. It is important in education, especially as a medium of higher education. Each state and union territory has one or more official languages, and the Constitution recognizes in particular 22 scheduled languages. The 2011 census reported the religion in India with the largest number of followers was Hinduism, 79.80% of the population, followed by Islam, 14.23%. The remaining were Christianity, 2.30%, Sikhism, 1.72%, Buddhism, 0.70%, Jainism, 0.36%, and others, 0.9%. 15. India has the third largest Muslim population, the largest for a non-Muslim majority country. 366. 367. Culture. A Sikh pilgrim at the Harmandir Sahib, or Golden Temple, in Amritsar, Punjab. Indian cultural history spans more than 4,500 years. 368. During the Vedic period, c. 1700 BCE c. 500 BCE, the foundations of Hindu philosophy, mythology, theology and literature were laid, and many beliefs and practices which still exist today, such as Dharma, Karma Yoga, and Mukha, were established. 74. India is notable for its religious diversity, with Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Islam, Christianity, and Jainism among the nation's major religions. 369. The predominant religion, Hinduism, has been shaped by various historical schools of thought, including those of the Upanishads. 370. The Yoga Sutras, the Bhakti movement. 369, and by Buddhist philosophy. 371. Visual art. India has a very ancient tradition of art, which has exchanged many influences with the rest of Eurasia, especially in the first millennium, when Buddhist art spread with Indian religions to Central, East and Southeast Asia. The last also greatly influenced by Hindu art. 372. Thousands of seals from the Indus Valley civilization of the 3rd millennium BCE have been found, usually carved with animals, but a few with human figures. The Pashupati seal, excavated in Mohenjo-Daro, Pakistan, in 1928-29, is the best known. 373. 374. After this there is a long period with virtually nothing surviving. 374. 375. Almost all surviving ancient Indian art thereafter is in various forms of religious sculpture in durable materials, or coins. There was probably originally far more in wood, which is lost. In North India, Mauryan art is the first imperial movement. 376. 377. 378. In the first millennium CE, Buddhist art spread with Indian religions to Central, East and Southeast Asia. The last also greatly influenced by Hindu art. 379. Over the following centuries a distinctly Indian style of sculpting the human figure developed, with less interest in articulating precise anatomy than ancient Greek sculpture, but showing smoother flowing forms expressing prana, breath or life force. 380. 381. This is often complicated by the need to give figures multiple arms or heads, or represent different genders on the left and right of figures, as with the Ardhanarishvara form of Shiva and Parvati. 382. 383. Most of the earliest large sculpture is Buddhist, either excavated from Buddhist stupas such as Sanchi Sonath and Amaravati. 384, or is rock-cut reliefs at sites such as Ajanta, Kala and Ellora. Hindu and Jain sites appear rather later. 385. 386. In spite of this complex mixture of religious traditions, generally, the prevailing artistic style at any time and place has been shared by the major religious groups, and sculptors probably usually served all communities. 387. Gupta art, at its peak c. 300 CE c. 500 CE, is often regarded as a classical period whose influence lingered for many centuries after. It saw a new dominance of Hindu sculpture, as at the Elephanta Caves. 388. 389. Across the north, this became rather stiff and formulaic after c. 800 CE. The rich with finely carved detail in the surrounds of statues. 390. But in the south, under the Pallava and Chola dynasties, sculpture in both stone and bronze had a sustained period of great achievement. The large bronzes with Shiva as Nataraja have become an iconic symbol of India. 391. 392. Ancient painting has only survived at a few sites, of which the crowded scenes of court life in the Ajanta caves are by far the most important, but it was evidently highly developed, and is mentioned as a court-like accomplishment in Gupta times. 393. 394. Painted manuscripts of religious texts survive from eastern India about the 10th century onwards, most of the earliest being Buddhist and later Jain. No doubt the style of piece was used in larger paintings. 395. The Persian-derived Deccan painting, starting just before the Mughal miniature. Between them give the first large body of secular painting, with an emphasis on portraits and the recording of princely pleasures and wars. 396. 397. The style spread to Hindu courts, especially among the Rajputs, and developed a variety of styles, with the smaller courts often the most innovative with figures such as Nihal Chand and Nansuk. 398. 399. As a market developed among European residents, it was supplied by company painting by Indian artists with considerable Western influence. 401. In the 19th century, cheap Kalai hat paintings of gods and everyday life, done on paper, were urban folk art from Calcutta, which later saw the Bengal School of Art, reflecting the art colleges founded by the British. The first movement in modern Indian painting. 402. 403. Bhutasvara Yakshas, Buddhist reliefs from Mathura, 2nd century Euro CE. Bhutasvara Yakshas, Buddhist reliefs from Mathura, 2nd century CE. Gupta terracotta relief, Krishna killing the horse demon Keshi, 5th century. Gupta terracotta relief, Krishna killing the horse demon Keshi, 5th century. Elephanta caves, triple bust, Trimurti, of Shiva, 18 feet, 5.5 m, tall, c.a 550. Elephanta caves, triple bust, Trimurti, of Shiva, 18 feet, 5.5 m, tall, c 550. Collar bronze of Shiva as Nataraja, Lord of Dance, Tamil Nadu, 10th or 11th century. Collar bronze of Shiva's Nataraja, Lord of Dance, Tamil Nadu, 10th or 11th century. Jahangir receives Prince Karamatajma on his return from the Muir campaign. Bal Chand, c.a 1635. Jahangir receives Prince Karamatajma on his return from the Muir campaign. Bal Chand, c. 1635. Krishna fluting to the milkmaids, Kangar painting, 1775 1785. Krishna fluting to the milkmaids, Kangar painting, 1775 1785. Architecture. The Taj Mahal from across the Yamuna River, showing two outlying red sandstone buildings, a mosque on the right, west, and a jawab, response, thought to have been built for architectural balance. Much of Indian architecture, including the Taj Mahal, other works of Indo-Islamic Mughal architecture, and South Indian architecture, blends ancient local traditions with imported styles. 404. Vernacular architecture is also regional in its flavors. Vastu Shastra, literally science of construction or architecture, and ascribed to Mamuni Mayan, 405. Explorers show the laws of nature affect human dwellings. Winking Sad Smiley, 406. It employs precise geometry and directional alignments to reflect perceived cosmic constructs. 407. As applied in Hindu temple architecture, it is influenced by the Shilpa Shastras, a series of foundational texts whose basic mythological form is the Vastu Purusha Mandala, a square that embodied the absolute. 408. The Taj Mahal, built in Agra between 1631 and 1648 by orders of Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan in memory of his wife, has been described in the UNESCO World Heritage List as the jewel of Muslim art in India and one of the universally admired masterpieces of the world's heritage. 409. Indo-Saracenic Revival architecture, developed by the British in the late 19th century, drew on Indo-Islamic architecture. 410. Literature. The earliest literature in India, composed between 1500 BCE and 1200 CE, was in the Sanskrit language. 411. Major works of Sanskrit literature include the Rigveda, c. 1500 BCE c. 1200 BCE, Thepics, Mahabharata, c. 400 BCE c. 400 CE, and the Ramayana, c. 300 BCE and later, Abhijnakuntalam, the recognition of Akuntal, and other dramas of Klitsa, c. 5th century CE, and Makviya poetry. 412, 413, 414, in Tamil literature, the Sangam literature, c. 600 BCE c. 300 BCE, consisting of 2,381 poems, composed by 473 poets, is the earliest work. 415, 416, 417, 418, from the 14th to 18th centuries. India's literary traditions went through a period of drastic change because of the emergence of devotional poets like Kabir, Chalsts, and Guru Nanak. This period was characterized by a varied and wide spectrum of thought and expression. As a consequence, medieval Indian literary works differed significantly from classical traditions. 419. In the 19th century, Indian writers took a new interest in social questions and psychological descriptions. In the 20th century, Indian literature was influenced by the works of the Bengali poet, author and philosopher Rabindranath Tagore, 420, who was a recipient of the Nobel Prize in Literature. Performing arts and media. Indian music ranges over various traditions and regional styles. Classical music encompasses two genres and their various folk offshoots, the Northern Hindustani and Southern Carnatic schools. 421. Regionalized popular forms include filmy and folk music. The syncretic tradition of the Balls is a well-known form of the latter. Indian dance also features diverse folk and classical forms. Among the better-known folk dances are the Bhangra of Punjab, the Bihu of Assam, the Jhumar and Cow of Jharkhand, Odisha and West Bengal, Garba and Dandiya of Gujarat, Gumar of Rajasthan, and the Lavani of Maharashtra. 8 dance forms, many with narrative forms and mythological elements, have been accorded classical dance status by India's National Academy of Music, Dance, and Drama. These are Bharatanatyam of the state of Tamil Nadu, Kathak of Uttar Pradesh, Kathakali and Mohiniyattam of Kerala, Kuchipudi of Andhra Pradesh, Manipuri of Manipur, Odissi of Odisha, and the Satraya of Assam. 422. India's National Academy of Performance Arts has recognized 8 Indian dance styles to be classical. One such is Kuchipudi, shown here. Theatre in India melds music, dance, and improvised or written dialogue. 423, often based on Hindu mythology, but also borrowing from medieval romances or social and political events. Indian theatre includes the Bhavai of Gujarat, the Jatra of West Bengal, the Nautanki and Ramlila of North India, Tamasha of Maharashtra, Barakatha of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, Tuakattu of Tamil Nadu, and the Yakshagana of Karnataka. 424. India has a theatre training institute, the National School of Drama, NSD, that is situated at New Delhi. It is an autonomous organization under the Ministry of Culture, Government of India. 425. The Indian film industry produces the world's most watched cinema. 426. Established regional cinematic traditions exist in the Assamese, Bengali, Bhojpuri, Hindi, Kannada, Malayalam, Punjabi, Gujarati, Marathi, Odia Tamil, and Telugu languages. 427. The Hindi language film industry, Bollywood, is the largest sector representing 43% of box office revenue, followed by the South Indian Telugu and Tamil film industries, which represent 36% combined. 428 Telugu